Hello, everyone, and welcome to another apartment build. A few months ago, I went through the worlds and started looking at some things, and I decided that I needed to build some apartments in Copperdale. Mostly because there's not a whole lot there, and I really wanted to have a nice kind of downtown feel. And to do that, I needed some more Sims. So I decided to build this fun little 4-unit home on this lot specifically because what is here in this world with the pack is just a small little house, and it makes no sense to me. The buildings surrounding it are like shops with apartments above. We can't do that here, of course. I mean, we can, but I was looking at building something I wasn't going to play in, so I decided to do a cute 4-unit apartment building with an old school look. So it blends in really well in Copperdale, but it also would work really well in the university world. So yeah, it's multi-use for this build here. And I wanted that old look, mostly because the buildings around this have that old look. So the other thing I wanted was to allow a little bit of light into the basement apartment. So you will see that I kind of go through and do some interesting little things with that. And it took a few different tries to find something that would work the way I wanted it to. So you can see here, I tried the tiles from Island Living, but it didn't let light in. And so then I said, let's try just putting a glass roof on. And I realized that really didn't let light in, but I liked the look of it. So what I decide to do is I put the glass roof on one side, and eventually you will see me delete the glass roof on the other side and just add a nice sunken patio. So then I can put some windows in, because the game still didn't register that the basement had a, glass roof above it. But when I did this patio instead, it brought in some light. And I like it. I love how that looks. I think that's perfect. And I like it much better than what I originally was going to do. So, as you can see, the basement apartment is a little bit bigger, but that is because it has no outside area. So, that's the trade-off. That's what I'm going with. I also did make that the cheapest apartment. So, there's that. So the other reason that I wanted to build an apartment building on this lot is just because this lot has this kind of built-in deck area, and I thought that was kind of cool. I'm thinking in the save file I'm putting this in, which is for my personal save file, I'm going to use the tool mod to put some cool stuff around this build. And I might put this one in the world that I'm going to create that's whatever the heck I want in each one. This is something I'm actually, I've been working on. And I think I'm going to put this one in there. I'm excited about that world. It is going to take me quite a while to fill that up, but it's not something I'm necessarily doing as a series or anything. It's just taking the builds that I am building for you guys and putting them in the world as I see fit. Once I fill that world up, I will be uploading it for you to download. But it'll probably be at least the end of this year, if not into next year. Just because there's a few worlds I don't build in too often. So hint at what's coming, because yeah, you're going to see me building some things for worlds that I don't normally build in. So like Realm of Magic, werewolves that I've done. I think I've done one build. It was a trailer park. There's a video. I'll link to that above. And so that type of thing. Because I might as well create a cool save file with all this stuff I've been doing, right? And I'll also be using the tool mod to kind of create some fun extras in the world as well. That's why I want to upload it as a world and not just be, well, download all my builds from the gallery. That's not what I'm after with this. All right, so I'm kind of talking through this because there's not a whole lot to explain. It's an apartment building. The apartments are not supposed to be the same. They all have different layouts. As I said, my thought is this was an old building. Maybe it had a store in it. Maybe it was somebody's home. But it's an old building and they just kind of put apartments in it. That's what I'm going with. All right, so I kind of go through and put in flooring, and the flooring is pretty much the same. The bathrooms might be a little different. I decided to do that because honestly, most apartments now are putting in that vinyl wood flooring anyway. So that's what this is supposed to represent, is that vinyl wood flooring. All right, so here I started building and then realized I wasn't recording and decided not to go back and fix it. I just unpaused and kept going. You missed me put in like 3 cabinets. It wasn't, that big of a deal. But this is the cheap apartment. So I used the cabinets for rent because I didn't want to be really cheap. But I wanted it to be on the cheaper side. So I thought these would work well. I also pictured maybe 2 people just out of college, or maybe they're attending university. And that is how I decorated this. So kind of basic, cheaper furnishings to an extent. The bedrooms, I kind of thought that, at least in the one, they brought their high school bedroom stuff over. And the other one, I kind of pictured they bought all new stuff because, I don't know, they didn't have access to it or don't have it, something like that. So going through here, I kind of picked very cheap furniture. Eco lifestyle stuff. If you haven't figured out, this is a multi-pack build. No apologies. As usual. All right, so, and put in this cool little desk area because, they need one. Especially since, as I said, I'm picturing them as, maybe university students or something like that. And I also struggled trying to decorate this because I didn't want it to be expensive, but I didn't want to have absolutely nothing in here either. So, yeah. The other thing is, I started this build after doing multiple base game only build for my refresh series. And yeah, that's why I'm not apologizing, because after using base game only for so long, I needed a multi-pack build that was crazy, which is why I did the apartment. That being said, even with all the packs, I still pull some artwork from the gallery at one point. Not in this apartment, in one of the others. So the other thing with this build, especially in this apartment, I cluttered it up some, but I wanted to leave it so you could add some things to it. Just because of like my thought with the gameplay on this one, it's your cheaper apartment. If you're going to move into it, it's going to be on the cheaper end, and hopefully your intent is to improve it or move them out or something, So it's got stuff in it. It's not bad. The others are a little more cluttered, though I will say this one has a lot of decor in it because it has no windows. So I had to get a little creative with filling these wall areas up. And I like it. I actually myself have been looking at various ways I can improve my new apartment that I'm actually going to go check out as of recording this today. And I really wanted to kind of create a focal point behind my desk area, because I'm going to be, doing some other YouTube videos. If you don't know, I'm hoping to start a history channel here soon. A friend of mine is also wanting me to do a podcast. So that may be on video. And of course, I work during the day and I work from home. So that means Zoom meetings. And I have a new manager that would like to have us on camera more, things like that. So I want to kind of improve the look of the space that will be behind me, because it's just a blank wall. So I've been looking at various ideas to improve that wall that won't require anything that's not rental friendly. So as you see me start decorating these walls a little bit, that was my thought, is I've used a few ideas I found doing that, and I love them. I'm actually thinking of using one of them in a way behind my desk, and it actually is the one I do in this room here that I'm working on. Not the movie posters. Okay. These kind of wood slats. That seems to be a very big thing. And I really like how this looks. Adding in that wall color behind here just looked good. Probably won't do that in my own, room. But if I do this, I will make sure to throw some pictures on my Instagram so you guys can see that. So the other thing with this is I didn't put a dishwasher in this one. And the top floor apartment is the other cheap apartment, so that one does not have a dishwasher either. And that was kind of my, my deciding thing of cheap versus not so cheap. Now, these aren't really expensive anyway. I want to say the top one is maybe worth $45. So they're not really expensive. I didn't, go luxury with these by any means. But this one, I want to say, is maybe like $30, this unit. I did put a few things. Like I have some gardening stuff in here just to fill in the area a bit. And just, add a little something to it. All right, so moving on up to the next apartment. And this one, I wanted to have more of a, more expensive look, but not crazy. As I said, I didn't go luxury. But maybe this is a couple of young professionals. And they have a little more togetherness. They're a little more, advanced in their careers and can afford a little more. So they have some nicer stuff. That being said, I don't keep that sofa. It goes away. And I don't even think I keep that TV stand. The TV might stay. I ended up using the industrial kit to do the living room here, and I love this thing. I don't use it enough. And part of that is because I don't think a lot of people own it. If you own that, leave a comment below. Just, be like, I own it, or, whatever, or, industrial, something letting me know that you guys own this kit, because I'll use it more in my builds. I use it in builds that I've done, for myself quite a bit, but I don't use it in the builds I build for you guys much. The other thing is I did go blue with this living room kitchen area I'm designing, because apparently the Sims team loves blue, and personally I'm okay with that. Blue is one of my favorite colors, so there's a lot of blue. I'm just saying, blue. All right, so the other thing, I did struggle a bit with this kitchen because I wanted it to have seating. I wasn't going to put a dining room in. So I wanted there to be, this counter seating. And this is something that a lot of apartments are doing now, where you don't have a dining area, you just have counter space. And I know this because I am one of those people who needed the dining area so I could put my desk there. I laugh because so many are, well, we don't have a dining area, but we gave you this small little desk. And I'm like, I'm a drafter by trade, and I have like 3 monitors plus. I need more than your tiny little desk space to work. So, but, that being said, I've looked at quite a few apartment floor plans. So you're going to be seeing some that incorporate the no dining. That is very popular now. And the older versions that do have a dining room. Just saying, I found one that works well for my needs. It has a dining space where I can put my desk. And this one is actually more closed off, which is nice. It's not its own room, but it's, out of the way. It's not where people would, come and walk. I can kind of close it off if I wanted to. So that's nice. So anyway, back to this build. The bedrooms here, I just kind of threw in, like, either they had the beds, they didn't. There wasn't really a good, story behind these bedrooms. They're basic. I didn't do a whole lot with them. Mostly because I wanted them to be basic. I am in this kind of less is more kick right now. And I'm trying to clutter things up a little bit for you guys, because I know for a lot of people that is the problem. They don't want to clutter. So, and I get it. But it's hard when I'm going through that phase of less is more, minimalistic stuff. And that might have to do with the fact that I am packing my stuff right now and realizing that I really need to get rid of some things. So bear with me during this move. and probably for a little bit after that. I might just do some very like minimalistic builds to see if I can get that out of my system quicker. So if you see builds where, it follows more of the very minimal lifestyle, that's why. And hopefully it's only a few, and then I can get back to cluttering a little more. Really, what I need to do is do a crazy cluttered build also, because I don't do those, and I think it'd be fun to do one that's more cluttered. It might be like a cottage core type build. So, yeah, that might be something I'll be doing soon. Probably after I do the minimalist. Right. So, yeah, I've just been talking. As I said, these rooms aren't anything to, call home about, but they're functional. They have everything you need in it, and I think they turned out pretty cool. I wanted it to look like maybe they just had a mix of things because they're still in a transition period. So where the furniture in the living room is nice and, coordinated, the bedrooms, maybe not so much. So you'll see the green room, as I'm going to call it, with green bed. That one's a little more coordinated. This one over here, I kind of pictured maybe whoever's in here hasn't quite gotten their life together. I mean, they're not doing horribly, but they're not quite there yet. So the other roommate is the one who really put the money toward getting everything to look good, but, stopped at helping them with their own, their bedroom. So, which makes sense. So, yeah, that's kind of the thought process on this. Again, just kind of creating some stories that you could use if you download this build. Or, just enjoy listening to, because you're listening to me talk for about 35 minutes today. And I hope you enjoy my stories that I come up with while I do these builds. And again, if you have watched this channel before, that is probably my number one tip if you're trying to get into building. Build for someone. Even if you have to go to like AI, so like you go to ChatGPT or something, and you just type in, give me a storyline for, 4-person family, and use that to do your build. I've not done that myself yet, but I might start doing that for some of these just to see what happens, because I think it'd be fun. So that might be something I'll do too. Maybe starting this fall. I am going to give you guys a heads up. I might be dropping down to 1 video a week. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the refresh series or if I'm going to do other things, other builds, maybe for a month or 2 this summer. I'm waiting to hear if I'm going to be doing overtime at work. And that's really the big thing. It's how much overtime and if we have it, because I won't have as much time to do builds. So you will see, I'll post something on the community page once I find out if that's happening, and of course mention it in the videos. But I will find out in a couple weeks, and it will start pretty much immediately when I find out. So I will let you guys know. All right, so this apartment, you watched me do the kitchen here. I wanted this to be another colorful one, and it's blue. It's blue. But I like it. And I tried to change it at one point, which you didn't see because I cut it out. and went back to this blue. So if you want a different color, you can change it. But I thought it was just cool. It left some like pops of different things going on, and I don't know, it looked interesting, so I left it. The other thing is like trying to create this entry here. This one had a unique entry for this build, and I loved it, but I didn't want to clutter it up too much. So I just put in this cool little like coat rack and a couple of cute mirrors that are, more decorative than useful. And I think it turned out pretty cute. The other thing with this is your more put together, expensive apartment. So this is a family. They have 2 kids. And I really wanted this to be the one family. They have stuff going on. Maybe one of them's a teacher. And then I don't know what the other one does. But they're put together. They're in a good spot. They just don't want a house, or are maybe, like I said, they're a teacher and they move around a little bit. Maybe they're a university professor and have to move around to different schools or something. Lots of options for storylines here. So I did picture in this one 2 girls as the children. So that's who I decorated for. Luckily, with these beds, they're easy to switch. And I didn't put anything really girly in here, so you should be able to change this up if you want to fairly easily. And I also didn't put a lot in these rooms. They're small. They're very small. So they get their desk. They get a little tiny like dresser thing. And that's really about it. I don't think I got much else in there. There might be 1 or 2 things, but yeah, they didn't get a whole lot. But that's okay. We're going to say that this is the type of family that they go and do activities instead of hang out in their bedrooms, okay? They're too busy to need things to do in the bedrooms. So that's where I'm going with it. The other thing that I really liked with this build is I have these little patios out front, and pretty much with all of these except for the main floor, the master bedroom is what goes out to it. So I thought that was kind of fun. They have their own little balcony. Of course, it faces, the front of the building, but they overlook a park, okay? It's pretty. So most of these have, seating, that type of thing out there. The bottom one, I did put a chess table because that one is actually hooked up to the living area, not a bedroom. So I thought that was fitting. But really just kind of with these outdoor areas I put in, it's whatever I can fit out there because they're not very big. And I didn't want them to be. I wanted this to be a very kind of basic porch area that they have a little bit of space, but nothing too crazy. The bottom one is the one that gets the, a little more space. But that's okay. All right, so for this top one, this one's designed a little differently. Everything is toward the back of the apartment, and the bedrooms are up front. Again, that's something I'm seeing as well, where the focus is more on views of different things. Now, this doesn't really have a view, but it just worked to have the bedrooms where they're at. And I liked it. So I went with this. Now, I will say with this one, this is the second level cheap apartment. So I was trying to kind of go with that vibe. And I decided eventually that I was going to say they splurged on this sofa because it is a family. What I pictured in here was maybe a single mom with 2 teenage boys. And I'm going to say she splurged on this sofa because, she has 2 teenage boys and needs space. But it's pretty because she wants it that way. Okay? So here I decide, you know what? I have room for a dining table. I'm just going to make this a standard counter area without stools, which is what I did in the bottom one as well, because they have a dining space. So this is again where I'm kind of showing that maybe this older apartment, even though it technically might have a little more space if you think about it, this is one that would be cheaper now because it's not that modern, updated look. That's kind of what I was going for with this, is that idea that, having a separate dining space is not desired and not luxury anymore. So, and again, that's just been from me looking at apartments in the Nashville area. Most of them that are being built now do not have dining rooms. They're just extensions of the kitchen and counter seating, which there's nothing wrong with that. If I could afford a 2-bedroom in this city, I would do that and just have a actual office space. Unfortunately, 2 bedrooms are expensive. And right now, I just can't afford that. Maybe one day, but currently I need to focus on being able to get a car because I don't have one. I work from home and I had family living with me that had a car, but now I'm on my own and don't have that. So I need to lower the rent cost and hopefully get a car within the next 6 months. So anyway, as you can see, these rooms, I thought I had put in 2 boys, but maybe I put in a boy and a girl. I can't remember. I did this like 2 days ago and I can't remember. It's been a long week already. But yeah, it might have been I did a girl and a boy. So, but anyway, there's still 2 teenagers. And the girl is artistic and likes to paint. And the boy is the guitar, he picked up the guitar to get the girls. Okay? That's what I'm going for with this one. He wanted to impress the ladies. So that's how I decorated their rooms. And then there's just kind of a nice small master here that's perfect for the single mom. She likes bright, fun colors. You can see with this one, I tried to stay away from too much blue. There's a little bit, mostly because everything in this game is blue. But I think this turned out pretty cute with this yellow. I like this room quite a bit. I do struggle with rugs. You can see that. I don't think I put a whole lot on the walls in this room either. It just, again, more simplistic. That's kind of the vibe I was going for here. Now, I did struggle quite a bit with these windows, and I do eventually use... I use the set from this set. I just blanked on the pack name. Or the kit name, Paranormal Stuff. That's the name of that kit. Or a stuff pack, I should say, not kit. And they worked well there. It's just the window was weird being right up against the wall. All right, so we are coming up to the end of this build. And I have to say, I was surprised at how quickly this actually came together. I've been working on it for a few weeks on and off, but these last 2 apartments flew by. They were awesome. So, I hope you enjoy these, and I am going to let you guys check out the photos, and I'll be right back. Alright, I do hope you guys enjoyed watching this build. I enjoyed building it. Keep an eye out for some more fun little apartment builds, because I'm enjoying doing those. Alright, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye now.